directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
On view at Minneapolis Institute of Art, artist Mary Sully was a visionary ahead of her time. Born on Standing Rock Reservation, she worked in near obscurity between the 1920s and 1940s, creating intricate, vividly colored drawings that blend Dakota heritage with modern life. Now on display at the Minneapolis Institute of Art, experience the first solo exhibition featuring Mary Sully's work only at MIA until September 21st and always free to visit. Learn more at artsmia.org.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NACD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nacd.org.
Hi, Penny here from Nightingale in Minneapolis. Exciting news. During the warmer months, we're extending our charm to the patio. Imagine savoring your favorite dishes outside, surrounded by the lively energy of South Minneapolis near 26th and Lyndale. And guess what? Nightingale's patio is not just a dining space. It's also dog-friendly. Craft cocktails, curated wines, and half-price bottles of wine on Mondays are still part of the deal. Open daily 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with a full menu until midnight. Join us at Nightingale where good times and great flavors come together.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Evening showers and storms possible with an overnight low of 61, then Wednesday clearing skies with a high of 77. For more than 40 years, the Great Wall Restaurant has been serving up Szechuan and Mandarin favorites. The Great Wall is located just north of 50th in France on the Minneapolis-Edina City line. Check them out at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, any cut again.
Because all the hippies are trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, we got a special show today, and State Representative, I always like to say we have a special show every day, but we really do this day, and I'm going to have State Representative Heather Keeler invite her guest here today for a couple segments, and then later on we'll have Arvina Martin on from Emerge Wisconsin and getting our updates from what's happening politically in Wisconsin. And then before I hand over the show to State Representative Heather Keeler, I want to remind everyone on Saturday, September 13th, our walk team AM 950 will join hundreds of other teams supporting Minnesota Recovery Connection Walk for Recovery on the grounds of the Minnesota State Capitol. The Walk for Recovery is a powerful expression of the positive impact that people in recovery can take. Help us break the stigma of addiction by joining Team AM 950 at the walk or by making a donation. And I can tell you guys later about that. But before I get too caught up in my own world here, I want to invite State Representative Heather Keeler here and take it away. State Representative, almost said it.
Oh, I was going to say, you did so many times without calling me that other name. And so you're getting so good at it. That's cool. I love that event. When I did my recording for you last week, I talked about, this month being the month that we really bring awareness and celebrate recovery. And so that's great. I hope people engage in the ways that you definitely provide. We have some events in our community too, and I think all over. And I think one of the cool things about these events is we're destigmatizing recovery a little bit, and just really bringing community in that healing process. And I think we're seeing a lot of positivity around that. So that's great, Robert. I'm glad you're going to share that with us.
Absolutely.
All right. So, I'm on this show quite a bit, and I feel like a lot of times I just talk myself, and I want to bring other people along, and use the platform, right? And educate people on some things. And so, when I was elected in the pandemic in 2020. We came in with a small class into the House of Representatives. We like to call ourselves the Corona class. We are unique, we'll say that, but I think we are unique because we ran campaigns, through the phone, through the screens. We called people checking on each other. And I came in with some really stellar classmates. Professionally, we're deep. Politically, we have real great understandings in different areas. And so I want to highlight one of my classmates and chat with Representative Cedrick Frazier. Welcome.
Hey, happy to be here. You say small class, but a mighty class.
Yes.
Probably some of the biggest voices in the caucus right now. So happy to be here too today.
Yeah. So I guess one thing I wanted to chat about, and Robert, I'm not sure if you went, but it was last Friday. They did the flag raising for the tribes. I wasn't able to come because I was back in Moorhead, but both of you guys were there, right? How was that?
I was in New York, and a little butthurt because I didn't get the Ho Chunk flag up, but that's a different show, Heather.
Oh, that is a different show. So, Sed, you were there though, right?
I was there, and I spent probably half an hour looking for you, so I didn't. But no, it was amazing. Listening to getting to speak, listen to all the chairmen talk about the importance of being recognized, the importance of getting closer to the recognition of them, their tribes, and their sovereignty. I think it's probably one of the biggest events that I've been a part of since I've been a legislator, and just the impact and what it means to I don't even want to say the state of Minnesota, what it means to this land to acknowledge the history and the folks that were here before anybody else was here, and that they're still here and thriving, and the things that we need to do to maintain those partnerships and ensure that this state is being inclusive of them. I get a loss for words because it was that good of an event. It was that touching to be a part of it, and to know. I know you've been a part of this to get to this point, but to know what it took to get to the point to have those flags go up, to listen to the stories from the chairman, to talk about their history, their childhood, their grandparents, their ancestors, and what they've been through, what they went through here, and what it means to them. I mean, it was a touching day, and the weather held good, and it was a good time overall, and a great day for the state. That's what I want to say. The biggest thing, a great day for the state to really honor and recognize the true history of this country and of this state.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, I was just down there today, and they're up every day. The thing is it wasn't just like a one-day thing.
That's right.
It's a thing implemented. It's there now. It's the representation. And the hope is that it's a reminder that we have to move our feet in action with this. We can do land acknowledgements a lot. We can hang flags places, but it's also like we have to do the work to, move in those steps. And so just a kind of a reflection of the work you've done in the House. And then when we come back on the segment, we'll kind of look at maybe what future is looking like for you. But as you reflect on your time that we've, spent in the House, we've gone through a lot. We came in a pandemic, we had the trifecta, we've gone through when you work you've been able to do a partner, with what's some of the coolest ways you have?
I don't know if you caught that, but she was asking what is some of the coolest things that you did and are looking forward to, Cedric. You're breaking up just a little bit, Heather.
Yeah, I think some of the coolest things. Well, some of the coolest things are probably. I think one time I'll say this. It's not even a legislative thing, but Rep Keeler, you brought some students up from your district, from your high school. And I think your son was there that day too. And we spent some time talking with them and talking about the legislative process. I think you had multiple of us come in that day, but I think I was there for probably the entire time we were in this portion, having a conversation about their dreams, their goals, why it's important to see folks that look like them, move like them, talk like them, have lived experience like them in places where we make policy, and kind of what it power lies and how it impacts folks in the state overall. And I always think when I have time to connect with young people and hear about their hopes and dreams, and then tell them that, this place is for you, you can be here and you can make an impact. And I think that's always those are some of the most powerful times and some of the most impactful times for me, because I remember when I was a young person and seeing someone that represented someone like me in a space that was so important and so impactful. It always I always went back more hopeful and inspired that I could be in that place someday. So those are kind of some that day. That day always pops in my mind. I got there's a picture from that day that pops up on my timeline every now and then. I actually think on one of my socials, I have a picture of me talking to the kids as my main profile picture. That's how much that day meant to me. Yeah.
In our cool sneakers.
Yes. Yes.
I do remember. Yeah, that was really, really meaningful. That's kind of a cool memory, Sed. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. You made it happen.
So, yeah, but again, it's representation, right? And so that's the thing that, we've all been able to do. So what's some of the big moves you've made policy-wise, political-wise in this work as your time? Like, what's one of your biggest wins and one of the proud points you've had in this work?
In this moment right now, as we're having this conversation about with the tragedy that happened at Annunciation, and then within a 24-hour period, we had this gun violence that was happening. I think some of the biggest things I've done has been around that area of crime intervention, and then restorative justice. But specifically, I carried a bill for red flag laws to keep guns out of the hands of folks that are dangerous or commit harm to themselves or harm to the community. And that was such an impactful thing. And then, as you know, I carried the bill for restoring the right to vote, because all these things get people back into the community, and it also has an impact on public safety.
Hey, Heather, we're going to take a break. Yeah. We're here with State Representative Heather Keeler and our friend, Representative Cedrick Frazier, and this is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be right back after this short break.
On view at Minneapolis Institute of Art, artist Mary Sully was a visionary ahead of her time. Born on Standing Rock Reservation, she worked in near obscurity between the 1920s and 1940s, creating intricate, vividly colored drawings that blend Dakota heritage with modern life. Now on display at the Minneapolis Institute of Art, experience the first solo exhibition featuring Mary Sully's work, only at MIA until September 21st, and always free to visit. Learn more at artsmia.org.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NAGD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nagd.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Again, we're going to hand the show over to State Representative Heather Keeler. Welcome back to Native Roots Radio.
Thanks. If I start to break in and out, Robert, jump in and help you kind of know where we're trying to go with this. So said, we came in together into the House. It's important to, do this work together. But sometimes when we do this work, we find other paths. And so talk to us a little bit about what your next steps are looking like and what opportunities you have to share with us.
Well, most recently, a few weeks ago, I announced that I'm going to be running I live in Hennepin County. I represent the city of New Hope and Crystal, currently District 43A. But most recently, I announced that I'm going to be running for Hennepin County attorney. So that would be the lead lawyer for the office that oversees prosecution, the prosecution sides of crimes, and also oversees the civil side of the lawyers that represent and advise the agencies within Hennepin County. And so very important office, very important role. I thought this was a time to step out and step in and step up to lead in that role. And I'm looking forward. So far, campaign is going well. Getting a chance to talk to lots of people, reconnecting with people that I've known, relationships that I have, but also meeting new people. So I'm very excited about it. And one of my main things is that I'm just looking forward to building more relationships. Particularly when I think about the Native community, it's important that we have those relationships because oftentimes resolving crimes, prosecuting cases, holding people accountable, it comes down to making sure you have relationships so that you can get people in to report crimes, but also people in to give you the information you need to hold individuals accountable when they're causing harm to the community. And I know how important relationships are. So I'm looking forward to continuing relationships that I have. And Heather, I know that we have some friends that are close here that I'm going to be connecting with to deepen those relationships in the Native community in Hennepin County. And I'm looking forward to just talking with everybody and just finding out what they want to see in the next leader of Hennepin County. But no doubt, I believe I'm going to be that next leader for Hennepin County Attorney's Office.
That's we like coming out of class for sure. Although, the impact that Hennepin County has a ripple effect on the rest of the state. You're the example, you lead on how we navigate things like ICWA implementation, different things that are specific with our communities. But, one thing I've talked about on this show a lot is the attendance work that we've been talking about. And you and I have sat at the education table together. We've been partnering a lot with the Hennepin County Attorney's Office now around attendance and, preventing truancy, because that ends up going through the court systems. Tell us a little bit. We've had a lot of history on the education table, but where do you see, your role in attendance when it comes to, your new role?
Yeah. So I've met with the folks in their Be a School office there in Hennepin County, and they've got some really good ideas and initiatives that they're working on to ensure that our students are attending school. One, building and developing and deepening relationships with our school districts, superintendents, principals in those school districts, any advocacy organizations that are working to make sure our kids have great outcomes. And one of it, like I said, building those relationships so that you can get the data. The data is important, having access to the data, but also having access to those administrators and those teachers that have relationships with the families and the students, and really working in tandem through those coalitions and collaborations to ensure that we can identify when there's issues where our kids may not be coming to school, find out what those issues are. Then again, like I said, the county it's a big county. So the Hennepin County Attorney's Office is just one cog in that, but you have access to all of these resources and services that can help we can direct our families to, we can direct our students to ensure they're getting what they need to make sure they're attending school on a consistent basis to have better outcomes. And as you know, like I know, the reason it's important is that we can know when we look at the data, the more frequently students are out of the classroom, the less likely they're going to have the outcomes they need to have a better life when it comes to their education. And so we're trying to find ways that we can identify where the issues are, intervene, provide resources, and ensure that our kids are getting the best services that they need to provide for the best possible educational outcomes, which again, to me, all this goes back to better communities, better resources, better outcomes, better public safety for everybody.
Yeah, I love that, because with attendance and truancy, we've always talked about it shouldn't be responsive. Like, we should just lean into the prevention work and really making schools a place that people feel like they want to go and engage and love to learn again. But there's a lot of, parameters around that. I love the Be at School team. Shout out to Ashley. She's come to the table with actually good solutions. This is one thing I say to everybody in every organization, in every space. You can complain about an issue all you want, but providing solution focused conversations is where it's at. Like, come to the table with some honest solutions. And that team, the Be at School team, did a fantastic job. And so, I endorse everything they're doing and think it's actually like really, really great, and hope that all stays intact, and we'll do great work there together for sure.
Well, I think the program is great, and I know it's been there for a while. And one of my goals is to, being a new leader, would be to get it more resources that it needs, so we can help even more students. I mean, that to me is help as many students as possible. Like you said, it's about being proactive, not reactive.
Right. So what does a county attorney and their office do? Right. Like, sometimes I think that people don't engage in elections because they're not totally sure what all of these seats do and how it impacts their life. So do you just tell us, what does that position do?
Well, the main role of the elected county attorney is to oversee the office. You got the criminal division side that prosecutes cases. So and that's the one everyone knows about, we talk about. That's important because it's a big part of our public safety system. Like I said, if someone's doing harm in the community, you want to address that, hold them accountable. That's a big part of what the office does. That's where most of the attorneys are, in that office, because we have a large county, over 1 million people in this county. So it's a lot going on. But then you have the civil side that has about 30 attorneys, and they're focused on advising the different agencies. So we're talking about human services. We're talking about the safety net programs. We're talking about those programs that are the intervention programs, and making sure that those programs are doing things according to law, avoiding any type of legal liabilities, and also maintaining and ensuring that the grant programs that we have are being done the right way till we get those resources out to the community. As a leader, my goal would be to make sure all those things are functioning well, and also making sure all the political stuff that happens out there, that the over the 500 staff in the office, they don't have to worry about that. They have to focus. They get to focus on their job, create a great work environment and a good culture. I want it to be a happy place for people to work in. We deal with some heavy things, but at least when you come there, you have a good work culture. It's a happy place for people to work in. You can be proud that you work in that office. And when people are happy when they work somewhere, they work harder, they have better outcomes, they engage, they communicate with people better. That's the kind of environment that I'm looking to create and give folks what they need. But overall, those are the big two divisions of that office, but they're working in tandem with all of the areas within the county to make sure that Hennepin County thrives, that everybody in Hennepin County has what they need to be successful.
So how does it work then, because there's a lot of Native people, it's an urban Indian community, right? And so there's a lot of this, work that we do. There is this understanding that we do, state and tribal relations. What's your viewpoint on then the county and tribes relations, just because of the shared interest of the community?
I think there should be deep relationships there, and deep partnerships and collaboration. Again, this is what I talk about. I think the thing I bring that's probably, unique than anyone else that's ever ran for this office is my background and my relationships and the work that I've already done with different communities, right? And so for me, it's about deepening those. If those partnerships and collaborations don't exist, I want them to exist. And that's what I'm going to be working for. Like I said, my role is going to be that I'm going to be that cheerleader for Hennepin County Attorney's Office saying, hey, everybody, you're all welcome here. We want to work with everyone. We want to make sure we're being proactive to get people engaged so that we can create better outcomes for everybody.
Robert, are you trying to ask a question? Is there a question brewing in your brain over there that you want to ask, said?
No, but we got less than a minute with this segment, and then we have Arvina Martin coming on next. So speak your truth here in this last minute, you two.
Yeah, you've shared kind of where you've been and where you kind of want to go. So, how can people engage with you? How can people, join you in this process? Where can they find you? It's always about raising money. Give us all the deets.
Yeah, look me up on all my socials, just at Cedrick Frazier. You'll find me, cedrickfrazier.org. You can find my website. It'll tell everything about the campaign, what's going on, how people can get engaged. As always, you can, if you feel kind to donate to support the campaign. But we really just I want to meet with people and engage with folks. If there are particular issues you want to talk about and know what my vision is or what my thoughts are on them, I'm calling people back. I'm coming to the community. Invite me to the community. Invite me. I'll bring a bunch of people. Let's sit down and have a conversation. That's how you build relationships. That's important for all elected officials, but I think even vitally important for the Hennepin County Attorney to have those relationships in the community to make sure that when anything goes down, I can pick up the phone and call someone. And for folks and leaders in the community to know, if anything goes down, you can text me or call me, and I'm going to get back to you and be responsive.
There you go. You have it.
Hey, thanks you too. That was Representative Cedrick Frazier and our friend State Representative Heather Keeler. We'll be right back with Arvina Martin with Emerge Wisconsin. You're listening to Native Roots Radio.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about the joy of live fire cooking. Cooking over a live fire is the oldest and most basic form of cooking.
What's new is in the way fire is handled and its heat is managed.
It's easier to experience and enjoy the smell and taste of food cooked over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs live fire grills, fire pits, and ovens. Let us help you experience the smell, the taste, the fun of cooking with fire.
Pizza was first made and is still best made in an open fire oven. The radiant and conductive heat of a live fire is unmatched for wood roasting and baking artisan breads too.
Come see the many ways you can cook over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. Over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
I'm Rachel Schroman, owner of Schroman Law, and I believe you deserve information. Our firm offers free quarterly estate planning seminars at our office in St. Paul. At these seminars, you can learn the basics of estate planning from an attorney to help you determine which estate planning documents will meet your needs and goals in an efficient and cost-effective manner. You can learn more and register at our website, schromenlaw.com/events. That's SCHROMEN law.com/events.
Overwhelmed trying to make sense of Medicare? As a licensed advisor, I can help you determine your healthcare needs and evaluate your options. I'm Harvey Pearl of Pearl & Company, and I want you to have the peace of mind knowing you have the best coverage available. You deserve an advocate you can trust and coverage you can rely on. And there's no fee, ever. Annual enrollment is October 15th through December 7th. Find me at pearlsofwisdom.com. That's PERLES of wisdom.com. So we can strategize together.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Evening showers and storms possible with an overnight low of 61. Then Wednesday, clearing skies with a high of 77. For more than 40 years, the Great Wall Restaurant has been serving up Szechuan and Mandarin favorites. The Great Wall is located just north of 50th in France on the Minneapolis-Edina City line. Check them out at greatwallrestaurant.us.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to be your next United States Senator, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert Pilot, and we are here with our friend Arvina Martin, Executive Director of Emerge Wisconsin. And I just want to read this real quick. Arvina Martin is the first Native person ever elected to Madison, Wisconsin's Common Council, and was elected vice president in 2020 by her peers. Arvina is an enrolled member of Ho-Chunk Nation, is Stockbridge, Muncie, we don't like to talk about that, and has worked with Native communities throughout her whole career. Welcome, Arvina. Great to see you as always. Oh, you're muted.
I did it again. It's been so long since I've done that. So sorry. It's great to be here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's good to see you as always. A lot going on. You know, I would like maybe you just to take over this first part of the show and talk about what you want to talk about, and maybe I'll jump in and ask you a few questions. But I know there's things happening nationally. We've talked about this and what's happening, bubbling up in Illinois, in Chicago, and all these things, but also what's happening in Wisconsin besides the great victory by the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, wow. It was a good game. I had my father passed away in 2019, and after we got the Micah Parsons coming to Green Bay News, and then after we won on Sunday, both of those times, like, I got to make sure Dad saw that, and it was kind of nice to think about my dad with some big Packer wins.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
And I have to mention too that our Vikings won, and it looked really good for one quarter, but I guess they only needed one quarter to score 21 points and beat the beloved Bears.
But that's, as a Packer fan, that's one of those games where you know they can't both lose, so you kind of hope for a small, very localized earthquake to swallow up just the players. Just kidding.
Yeah. Or a tie.
I do not advocate for violence against Vikings or Bears. But,
or a tie, right? A tie would work just as well, especially if the Packers won.
Ties do have implications in the NFL, so that's something. So I actually think that it looks like it's going to be another good NFC North year. So I'm just glad we got that monkey off our back by winning a game against one of our division rivals that is not the Bears.
Well, it's interesting. I know a couple of years ago when your new quarterback started, you were really up on him, and I wasn't convinced, but he's the real deal, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's still growing too, which is pretty exciting. I was thinking about this. I'm trying to remember what year that we got Brett Favre when he started. I mean, that was in the 90s. So that was 30 years ago. And, growing up a Packer fan in the 80s when we always lost, and we did, our big quarterback was Don Makowski, who lots of people don't remember. We had the big bust of Tony Mandarich, and it's I'm feeling pretty good in Love's hands. So like we've had this consistent since about 30 years ago, consistent quarterback, kind of gunslinger guy running the offense. And so, I think he's right in line, it's
That's crazy you say that, Arvina, because I think the Vikings go through 5 quarterbacks a year until these last 2 years. I mean, for 30 years, I mean, the people that they brought in here, Jeff George, people that careers were on the wane.
Warren Moon.
Yes, right.
Brett
That's
Favre.
right. That's right. Well, Brett made me a believer. I only wanted, like I've told you before, I only wanted him to win 2 games that year he came, and it was against the Packers, and he did that and more. He could have went 0 and I don't know, was it 16 games then? 0 and 14 or 2 and 14, and I would have been happy. But he's really become a disappointment as a person too, though.
Oh yeah,
great quarterback.
Yeah, no, I mean, an amazing football player, but seems to be an all-around crappy individual.
Yeah.
Who takes taxpayer money for kids and
pretends and wants to blame it on concussions and things like that. And then, I don't know what happened. Aaron Rodgers went off the deep end. Either that or I just didn't notice until COVID hit when he was anti-vaccine and telling us how smart he was. And I don't know.
Do you remember that weird press conference where he was like, they were saying, "Oh, you have COVID toes." So he took off his shoe and like lifted above the table.
Oh,
ew. Gross.
Wow. No, I don't remember that. But so did you guys know that he was that way during his career, or did it just come up like during that time?
I think he was pretty like restrained in what he shared with the public previously, and maybe it was just the matter of COVID and us all being confined to our homes and things like that. Maybe something inside him broke a little bit, and he needed to interact more. Maybe these ideas were always there and he just never vocalized them. Maybe he just developed all these new ideas when he was isolated. I don't know.
There's 2 things I want to bring up, and then I want to move on. Well, what was that famous actor that was at Standing Rock?
Shailene Woodley.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe that those 2 were going out because he was such right wing, and here she was. I have pictures of her at Standing Rock with Wendy. And she was the real deal.
I really liked the Facebook meme of like all the little old Indian ladies trying to like hook Shailene up with their grandsons.
Here's the other thing I was going to bring up. There was some weirdness with his brother on some dating show that they hadn't talked for years or whatever, and that was pre-COVID, I think.
Maybe that should have been our first hint, the fact that he didn't talk to his family for very long. Yeah, I think his brother was like The Bachelor or something. One of these shows. I watch a lot of reality TV, but The Bachelor is not one of them. So I didn't follow that one.
Well, let's hope Mr. Love is a new breed of quarterbacks, like bringing back Bart Starr kind of way, and good for the community and things like that. Because one thing I do have to give, I've been to a Packer game now. Last year I did go and had a great time, and the fans are great. But it reminds me way before your time, Arvina, when the Vikings were outside at the old Met. And those were the crazy days where we invented tailgating. It was unbelievable. And now they can't even, you have to tailgate miles away from the stadium now here in Minnesota.
I mean, yeah. And it's right. It's right there in downtown. There's not a lot of places to park and grill. And Lambeau is right in like a residential neighborhood. And so people park on the streets and rent these houses for amazing amounts of money just so they can tailgate on a Packer Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah. I was gonna say that Jordan Love donated like $25 million to some charities in Green Bay that deal with homelessness. So he's or something like that. He donated a lot of money to homeless youth shelters. I'm frantically trying to find what it was, but I can't at the moment. And he just got married, so he's him and his wife are making their charitable giving known in the Green Bay area. They're doing a lot of good for a lot of people, and I'm sure the community is really just so happy to have the generosity from your quarterback. It's pretty cool.
Do you know if his wife to be is a local Wisconsinite? Do you know that?
I don't think she is. I don't know where she's from. I can't even remember where Jordan Love went to college off the top of my head. So I don't know about her. I'm not even sure of her name.
Oh, that's cool. Next week, when we get victory number 2, we can get the Packer report and have you on 3 segments because, again, we're on civic media too. And so a lot of people will be hearing this in Wisconsin, and happy to hear you, Arvina.
I mean, a Packer fan born and raised. When I turned 18 and I, got my trust money, the first thing I did was buy a share of Packer stock. So
I think I heard that.
Yeah.
And you have a plaque that says that you are a part owner of the team. Yeah, that's amazing.
And I get invited every year to the shareholder meetings that happen at Lambeau. I've never been, but it's still cool to look. Yeah. Everybody's like, well, what's the return? Like, you don't get anything other than the pride of being able to say that you are a shareholder of an NFL team.
Well, and that's the one good positive thing about professional sports, I believe, is that does bring community together. I mean, we've had a couple World Series victories here. We have the Lynx that are winning again, but they had a great 5-year period where they won a lot of championships with Maya Moore and the crew. And Vikings won the last NFL title, which was 1969, but they got beat by the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and then the leagues merged, and there was never an NFL title again. So that's a trivia question you can use on your friends. But it brings community together, and people walk, the old around the water cooler talking about things and building community around these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Packers are very much in that mold. And like, I would argue like a prototype of, the mutual support between a sports team and the city where they play. It's a different kind of relationship, obviously, because there is not just one big rich guy that owns the team and can move away on a whim. The Packers stay there, and the city of Green Bay, I doubt that people would know anything about Green Bay if it was, and no shade to Green Bay. It's lovely there. But people wouldn't be as familiar with the city if it weren't for the Packers, and that support goes back and forth.
Hey, Native Roots Radio with Arvina Martin. We'll be right back.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
On view at Minneapolis Institute of Art, artist Mary Sully was a visionary ahead of her time. Born on Standing Rock Reservation, she worked in near obscurity between the 1920s and 1940s, creating intricate, vividly colored drawings that blend Dakota heritage with modern life. Now on display at the Minneapolis Institute of Art, experience the first solo exhibition featuring Mary Sully's work, only at MIA until September 21st, and always free to visit. Learn more at artsmia.org.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NAGD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nagd.org.
The place for live music is the Park Tavern. Park Tavern has delicious food and great bowling, and now the Park Tavern's dog-friendly patio is open and waiting for you. And make sure you catch the live music on the patio. On Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights from 5:30 to 8 p.m., live music awaits you with the Park Tavern's full menu available. Reservations for groups of 8 or more are recommended. And the Park Tavern offers private and semi-private spaces for small and large groups with no room fees and no minimum spending requirements. On Louisiana Avenue, north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park, live music and outdoor fun are back at the Park Tavern.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are here with Arvina Martin, Emerge Wisconsin's executive director, and we're talking a little football. And our studio sent me a text that it was Utah that the quarterback love is from.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah, that's what
That wouldn't have been my guess. I don't know why. I guess I was thinking like Michigan or something, or like Ohio. Huh.
Yeah, I think Michigan's our quarterback, our 22-year-old, unbelievably young quarterback. And Love was sitting on the bench for a couple of years before he took over, so he had some time to learn too, if I remember right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know that we've heard kind of how that process went. I mean, we've heard now more in retrospect that the onboarding process for Aaron Rodgers was not the smoothest, and maybe he didn't have the warmest relationship with the guy who was supposed to be his mentor. I don't know if he, did the same thing and kind of cold shouldered Love, but I mean, even just being in the room though, and being able to see, how somebody at that level operates has got to be just tremendous for your own development in the game.
Wow. That's a great segue to talk about Emerge Wisconsin. Well, let's talk a little bit about Emerge. And I know things are happening really quickly here. And we talked a little bit about last week how you're getting really rolling on the Emerge stuff here. Talk a little bit about that. And again, I don't mind you repeating yourself because we have new listeners all the time.
Okay. Well, I am the executive director of Emerge Wisconsin. We are an organization that recruits, identifies, and trains Democratic women and non-binary folks that feel comfortable in female-centered spaces on how to run a successful campaign for political office. We have over 350 alums here in Wisconsin. We've got over 50 alumnus serving at all levels of government. And we are getting ready for our next class, our class of 2026. We've just opened our applications for our class of 2026. So you can go to our website, wi.emergeamerica.org. And there's like one of those little buttons at the top that says training. And you can look there and get to our application there. Or I can try and put it in the chat here for those folks who are online. Oh, I can't do that. Never mind.
You can send it to me in my comments and then I can put it up too.
Okay. So this first one, I just sent it to you, Robert, is the for our application. So our training program is 70 hours over about 4 months. And we go over everything that you'll need to know, all of the tools that you'll need to put in your toolbox to run a really great campaign and win. In 2024 and 2025, our alumna had a win rate of over 90%. So we did great. It just says something about the caliber of people that we train, the amount of work that they put in, and the kind of training that we can offer. And I also want to mention, we are having this Saturday at 1 p.m. We are having a virtual training that is 1 hour. We call it Step Forward. And this is going to be a chance for you, if you participate, to learn about the things that you need to think about when you are deciding to run for office. So figuring out what your why is. Why do you want to run for office? What do you want to accomplish? How to, tell a story that comes from your values, that talks about issues and about policy and solutions that can change the situation. We talk about activating your network and how to figure out, who could volunteer for what roles and how to work with your friends and family, and about how to prepare your family for the realities of a run for office. Being a candidate is a full-time job, and sometimes you have a full-time job already, and sometimes you're also a parent. This is a really great way to learn those things that you're going to need to think about when you make the decision to run for office.
This is really huge. And I'm wondering too, because now I'm at that age, Arvina, where I could take free classes at the university because I'm a senior citizen. Can can anyone sit in, or is this specifically for, to do a class or to sit in on speech making or something like that?
So you have to be a part of our class, our current class, to get the trainings, and you have to apply to be in the class. But the training that we're going to be doing on Saturday is open to anybody, regardless of gender expression. If you're from Minnesota and you want to join it, this is Wisconsin, but I will help get you information, and follow up, and we can follow up with some of our national resources that we may have available for you if you live in Minnesota and want to run for office. It doesn't matter that there's no Emerge Minnesota. We can help train you at the national level too. And we really need to get more Native people elected into all levels of office outside of tribal government. So in addition to tribal government, we need Native people serving on city councils and school boards and county boards and state legislatures and Congress and attorneys general. We need all of it, because we as Native people deal with the federal government on a different level than non-Native people do. And that experience is very valid in terms of looking at how decisions are made, how policy affects people. We kind of have a front row view to a lot of federal policies, and using that kind of lens really helps make policy that will be helpful for our communities. I mean, Native and non-Native, it's always great for a tribal government to have somebody in office in another government that, a peer government that understands how they operate, and understands the importance of consultation, and why you don't exist in a vacuum, and that tribal governments are absolutely part of that whole governmental ecosystem.
Right. And my experience too, Arvina, in my short time working for our tribe was it was really a respectful government to government discussions that were happening. And so that's very, very important.
Absolutely. I mean, you get so many elected officials that, refer to tribes as a special interest, and that is not okay. That's a really kind of offensive take on our status, and not recognizing the special relationship that we do have with the government. And that's actually a training module that I teach as part of Emerge training. So yeah, like that. I want to make sure that all of our non-native folks that participate in our training program do have an understanding of tribal sovereignty and how to work with tribal governments, but also how to work it with grassroots native communities.
Yeah, I was there at the DFL. I was emceeing the DFL, Wisconsin DFL primary, and you did a great class on that I got to sit in, and there was a great native leader that's passed on. She loved your talk, and that was really meaningful to see that conversation between you two and her. I just want to throw that out there.
Yes. The late great Ada Deer told me she liked my presentation and I got it right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was great to be a part of that. Hey, Arvina, I sent you a message if you can just stay on after the show here for just 2 minutes. But thank you so much, Arvina Martin, Executive Director of Emerge Wisconsin, and our connection here in Wisconsin. It's very important. So, hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we'll see you tomorrow with Minneapolis Air. Hoa.
On view at Minneapolis Institute